Today we're talking a bit about Renfrewshire Council and their project around Microsoft 365. We will have quite a Q&A part at the end of it if there's anything sort of pops up. And I can probably guarantee there will be some sort of technical hitch, so if it happens, just bear with us. So, Renfrewshire Council, do you guys want to give an introduction?
Afternoon folks, my name is Phil Feeney. I'm the Enterprise Architect at Renfrewshire Council with the architecture team, which is quite a new function for the Council and I think generally for local authorities in Scotland as well to have an enterprise architecture team. So we cover application, data, technology and cyber security domains, and Richmond is in the team.
Good afternoon, my name is Richmond Howie. I'm the Network Transition Manager, part of the enterprise function at Renfrewshire Council. Would you want us to go over a little bit of what Renfrewshire Council
yes,
is?
Please. Yeah, please.
Okay, thank you. So Renfrewshire Council is a sort of a mid-sized council, I guess, in Scotland. Some of the figures you'll see on screen there, 176,000 citizens, 4,200 corporate users, but about 9,000 users in total. We have over 170 sites on our wide area network, so a considerable network as well, and about 8,500 education. There's actually about 25,000 education users in total if you include primary school pupils, etc. We are undergoing quite a considerable programme of change just now, including the Microsoft Enterprise Agreement that we're going to talk about this afternoon, and also a data centre migration as well. So plan to remove all our on-premises data centre services to a hosting partner. So that just is indicative of the kind of a dated estate I think that we feel that we had, and drives then the need to modernise and transform.
One of the challenges where they were moving from a dated Lotus Notes to Office 365 migration. Do you guys want to chat a bit around the business challenges that made you decide to go down the digital transformation route?
I mean, I think the Paisley 2021 film you've just seen there is indicative of the ambition of the council, and that's very much the public face. But behind that, then are the services that we need to provide to keep that going and make it happen, and obviously improve services for the citizens as well. So there were a number of triggers, I guess, for us embarking on this journey. We restructured internally in terms of ICT, and we had a couple of major IT audits across our estate for our IBM product suite and our Microsoft product suite. And with the new IT head of service who delivered a new strategy which would push us towards cloud services, towards evergreen IT, towards that modern workplace that's very much been a theme of the last 2 days here. We put together a business case which was to move to Office 365 to a sort of consumption model, then take up an enterprise agreement with Microsoft and move away from Lotus Notes, which was seen as a slightly dated bit of technology that we were using. There's been quite a number of challenges, I think, technically in that. If you want to elaborate on any more technical challenges around that, Rich?
Well, we could talk a bit about the sort of solutions. So we talked about the Lotus Notes to Exchange migration and the full productivity suite, but I think one of the good things about this is talking about the benefits you've seen. One of the things that have been quite phenomenal about Renfrewshire Council is I think we've began the Exchange migration about July, August, is that around about the right time? And we're now just sitting at the end of October and there are now 4,000 mailboxes deployed and being used. So do you want to talk a bit about the good stuff, also the pitfalls, the bad things that sort of happened, even around the proof of concept when we tried for 100 and odd users,
sure.
etc.?
So before actually GCI were involved, after we'd signed with Microsoft, they offered us a fast track service, and not that I want to sort of say a bad word about Microsoft, but it was horrendous. We were going to use that as a pilot for about 90 users. They offered us, I think it was 90 days worth of emails to transfer, but that wasn't really acceptable to that pilot group. They want to be able to take everything. So we decided to engage with our partner. The contract was assigned to GCI, and then they brought in the skills and knowledge to assist us to look at migrating all our users in a sort of seamless, uninterrupted fashion. We did have a couple of technical issues throughout the initial deployment. We do have a partner organisation, Scotland Excel, and they have been using Exchange on site. And unfortunately, in order for us to migrate from Notes to Exchange Online, and we needed an Exchange server, but we only allowed one. So first of all, we had to move all of those users onto their own tenancy before we could move it ourselves. And the biggest challenge probably for us from a technical point of view was more about the Microsoft want you to just access the internet directly from your endpoint. But as an organisation that has a public body, we have quite strict controls on what is allowed to get out, and usually they're a proxy, whereas the guidance is just allow it out to these FQDNs and these IPs on 443. And it was really just getting our cybersecurity officer engaged and making sure that she was aware of what those risks were and how we're mitigating them, and then putting in the controls to allow these endpoints to get through. But I think that's probably the biggest technical challenge.
Yeah, and just to add to that, I think, so technical challenges, yeah, but also challenges in terms of timescales. We had very aggressive timescales because part of the business case was the decommissioning of a number of products, particularly around the IBM notes and Domino estate. So effectively those licenses run out at the end of November, so we had a very aggressive timescale to get all our 4,200 users over. We're very much on track for that, which is surprising, but really pleased to see it. And obviously there's a number of other areas that we're looking at as well. We've got a Domino database application estate, so we've got 25 applications there, some of which are quite complex, and again, quite an aggressive timescale to remove them to other solutions such as SharePoint. So that's really where GCI have come in to assist with getting us there on time over those various different areas, the migration, development of different solutions for Domino, and bringing the skills that we didn't have. We had very much a skills gap. We were very skilled in the products that we had, but not in the products that we were moving to.
Yeah. So with a lot of moving parts, is there anything you can sort of advise people on from a project management IT perspective? Because obviously we were decommissioning a lot of dated environments, we were dealing with a lot of users, which we'll go on to in a second, and you're also looking at other things like security, Microsoft 365, Windows 10. So that's obviously probably put a big strain on your own IT department and resources, where you still have to carry on business as usual and endpoint solutions for your customers. So how have you found that's worked?
Yeah, I think it's probably fair to say that has been very challenging in terms of having enough resource to dedicate to this, and also keeping track of the multiple work streams that are involved in it. So obviously GCI have assisted in terms of project management. We've got our own project management in-house as well, and they've worked together very, very well to keep those work streams on track. The governance of what we're doing has also been a challenge to keep on top of, so that's really our area in terms of enterprise architecture, to make sure that we're putting the right solution in, particularly around cybersecurity as well, as Richmond mentioned. So it's definitely a balancing act, because business as usual has to happen as well, but I think some of the skill sets that we've had from GCI and some of their partners have very much assisted and brought our guys, our technical team on leaps and bounds, and given them the confidence that these are solutions that will work and that will be better than the solutions that they're replacing.
Mm-hmm. So we'll talk a bit about the solutions that you've done. So part of the future stuff is the Windows 10 deployment. So you can talk a little bit about that, or is that too far in the future?
Yeah, sure. So the first devices that we actually migrated were the let's call them the mobile devices, the Android handsets for our Outlook users that currently or used to use BlackBerry services. So we switched to use Intune, and we're sort of advised, well, you've got Intune, you've got SCCM for your desktop devices. So are you going to go hybrid, or are you just going to go full Intune? So we went with hybrid to keep SCCM as this sort of dashboard to control Intune, and then to apply the configurations and keep the control for all those Windows 10 domain joined devices that we have to have as what would be classed as managed devices in the public sector. We're now we're rolling out, I think, the SCCM for Windows 10. It's a fair thing to say. We have looking at the deployment of the image to a number of different types of devices, making sure our applications work correctly as they should. And then the next step will be the scheduling of the full rollout to the entire estate of 5,000? Yeah, about 5,000 devices in total.
Another part we talked about was the security. So you have deployed Active Directory for Azure, so ADFS. What was the thinking behind that, and what drove you down that route?
Okay, so as part of the enterprise agreement with Microsoft, we have a monetary commit to Azure So we decided, well, we might as well use it for something. So Azure actually has a good fit. We had some, let's say, concerns about putting our global catalogue, our GCEs, out in Azure on a publicly shared environment, and then exposing ADFS to the public. But I think that was more just a misunderstanding of how the solution works, and just making sure that everybody was aware of what benefits it brings, and what the advantages to them in having it in Azure and not in our own data centre, and that we don't necessarily need to actually provide a DR environment, a different data centre for Azure. So far, it's been up and running for now about 3-4 months. Has anybody deployed Azure on Windows Server 2016? Sorry, ADFS on Windows Server 2016 at all? No. Just there's a couple of challenges. It's not very good. Sorry, I'm going to sound like a Microsoft bashing again. TechNet articles aren't great on how to deploy it, but if you stick with it, there's a lot of good individual forum posts on how to do it and how to change from 2012 R2. Sorry.
No, that's fine. It's about being very honest about it. That's what we want. So one of the unusual things about Renfrewshire Council is when they awarded the IT contract, as a large portion of it was around change management, end user training and end user experience. So you took the sort of full change management offering, including making sure that employees that would maybe not be having access to computers at the moment, or maybe not even have the highest degree of IT literacy, were also getting training. Can you talk about around the thinking of that?
I think the rationale there was really to just exploit the new functionality as much as possible. There's so many new features within the Microsoft product suite, and Teams and Yammer, Skype, things that we hadn't used before. So it was really important to get the staff on board with that and show them the sort of opportunities there for collaboration that weren't there before. So there's a number of different sort of programs of work to train people up, as Margaret says there, and we didn't quite have, again, the resources in-house to do that on our own, but we were very aware of what we thought we needed to do. We do have an IT trainer, but one person isn't going to be able to train 4,200 users on the new product suite. So very, very much an important part of the contract was the change management, was the training element, and that's ongoing at the moment as we roll out. And we see that as something that will be iterative, really. So we'll release the functionality in an iterative fashion at the moment. People are coming over onto Outlook, and that in itself is new to them. The calendar functionality, etc., is new to them, even though it's broadly the same as most calendars and most email clients. But people get really panicky generally when they don't see the button in the place that they used to find it. So again, user education just in that. But then more exciting for us, I guess, are things like Teams, which we think will make a considerable difference in terms of the sort of collaborative nature of how we work. And again, there'll be training, documentation, etc. required on that. And then further on, do we look at Yammer? Do we look at there will be SharePoint sites and things like that as well. So a whole suite of things.
Mm-hmm. So if we look a bit about the outcomes, so you've embarked on this journey a few months back. I think we have come a long way in the last couple of months, and we now have almost 4,200 employees having access to latest technologies. You get Android devices and endpoints, and your next steps talking about Teams. What have you seen as the biggest positive of making this change through digital transformation?
I think it will be on that collaborative suite. Historically, the products that we had could do some of that stuff, but they weren't really very joined up. Particularly around things like remote access and whatnot as well. So it's kind of all under one banner now, much more seamless experience for the users. We're also, I guess, ticking the boxes of our strategy, which is really important, and it feels like we're modernising the workplace. We could possibly have developed more on the products that we had, but I don't think that people would have seen that as a significant change. This has given us an opportunity to really reinvigorate, I guess, the technologies that we deploy, the users in terms of the tools that they now have, and also for us within our own IT department to reinvigorate our own staff who were perhaps stagnating to a certain degree just in the product set that they'd developed and were keeping running for the last maybe 10 to 15 years. So it's a considerable change across the entire council, and we hope to see the benefits of that in terms of more collaboration, more connected services, and also collaboration with our partners as well, because there's bodies such as NHS who we collaborate closely with. And at the moment, as Richmond was alluding to, local authorities tend to be very closed in terms of their security. We have lots of compliance hoops to jump through, unfortunately, and something like SharePoint, for example, will give us a much easier way to share with one of our close neighbours who are the NHS in Glasgow.
And before opening up to question and answers, I always like asking a difficult question at the end. If there was one thing somebody could have told you back in May you wish you knew, what would it be? Bad or good? Even if it's fast track?
Yeah, fast track, yes, slightly misnamed service, I guess, unfortunately. One thing bad or good, I'm not really sure. I think we were really concerned about taking this on, yeah. Even though we were promoting it ourselves and fully behind it. I think there was probably something in our own minds going, I don't know if we'll get there with the 4,200 users by that deadline. So I think the collaboration piece with GCI has really enabled us to fast track that in that sense, and that was really important for us. The bottom line is we could not have achieved that on our own.